If Victor Wembanyama is playing, we're reacting to it. Welcome back to Jeff Talks Hoops. Today we are watching the Houston Rockets take on the San Antonio Spurs from Wednesday night. I understand that Wemby didn't actually have a fantastic game. We're still going to check out the highlights. I think Devin Vassell went off for San Antonio. Jabari Smith Jr. and Cam Whitmore did their thing for the Houston Rockets. Without further ado, let's get into these highlights. And I like right away that San Antonio is continuing to experiment with point Jeremy Sohan. Devin Vassell said, I understand he did his thing, opening up with a pull-up three. And if he can stay healthy, didn't play a lot of games last year, continued to improve at this trajectory, averaged around 18 points per game. There's a second three of the contest. Shot just under 39% from behind the arc last year. Just a really, really good complimentary piece. That contract, 5 for 135, 27 mil per, is going to look really good by the end of his deal. Open up the game with 3 straight threes. That's what this guy does. He can stretch the floor with the best of them. Zach Collins going to work, and he's had a really solid preseason too for the Spurs. This is a guy that a lot of people wrote off, and honestly, rightfully so, with how he had looked up until this point in his career. But it's good to see him get it going a little bit. As Vassell, my goodness, this guy is hot to start this game. But it's good to see Zach Collins put it together in San Antonio, and this is a right situation for him. Sohan getting absolutely rejected there. We didn't see some of Houston's vets tonight, but a lot of their exciting young players. And Jabari Smith Jr. using the length to get that little push shot to go. Going into the post now, the post fade. And that's one thing. Steven Silas, with all due respect, just clearly did not understand how to utilize this guy last year. Was using him as a spot-up shooter, pick and roll option. He is an ISO-capable player. Wemby, let's get it going. And Jabari Smith Jr. is going to be in for a fantastic sophomore campaign. Malachi Branham, another one of those nice young players. Wemby just doesn't seem like his head's really in it to start this game. I haven't seen much from him. I understand, I believe he had 7 points in the first quarter, and they were all on free throws or something like that. It was ugly. Saw him missing the 3 there. Jetty Osman, get it going. Flyer guy for the Spurs. If he plays well, they can ship him off at the deadline, maybe get a couple of second rounders for him. That Jock Landale with the shaved head. It is Jock Landale. Okay, I was going to say this is the first time I've watched him play with the Rockets, and I'm not used to seeing him with a shaved head, but I love that pickup for them this offseason. At times, I think he clearly outplayed DeAndre Ayton in the postseason for the Suns last year. So for what the Rockets got him at, I think around $8 million per. Don't quote me on that, but it was a good deal for them. Vassell continuing to pull with confidence. That is his game. He's not going to be doing a lot of driving, but he's a fantastic spot-up shooter. Can create his own shot, dribbling either way, going left or right into the pull-up. He's got a lot in his bag. He's still quite young. Şengün, I guess this is the one basket he makes. It's a nice little post fade. I like this kid quite a bit. And I know the Rockets do too, and Rockets fans have a lot to be excited about with him and the rest of this young core. Jabari Smith, I've seen him so far today in this game use his length really well. And that's one thing I felt last season because he didn't get a lot of ISO opportunities, as I talked about earlier, didn't get to use his physicality. Obviously, coming out of college, was known more as an elite tall guy shooter, for lack of a better word. Cam Whitmore, that would have been a beautiful take, but Amen Thompson following it up. Very interested to see where he fits into this Rockets equation, because Houston is a lot further along than people think if their young talent can continue to trend upwards. Obviously, the addition of Fred VanVleet helps. But when you look at it, a lot of talent on this roster. As a result, minutes aren't going to be easy to come around as Vassell continues to stay absolutely hot. As of right now, Amen's coming off the bench. He's a guy that I know a lot of Rockets fans were hoping would get the start. Wemby getting active defensively there. But, you know, with the state of this current team, VanVleet, Jalen Green, unless you end up trading Jalen Green, which I know there were some rumors this past season, I'm not sure how you can get Amen on the floor in that starting lineup, so he's going to have to figure it out. Wemby Getting it going in the second half. That's what I like to see, pulling with confidence. It's going to be interesting to see how they manage Amen's minutes. And obviously he's a bigger guard, so they can run some 3-guard lineups potentially with him, Van Vliet, and Jalen Green out there. Ime Udoka is a fantastic coach, off-the-court issues aside, so he's going to figure it out. Wemby staying active defensively. I like to see that. Sometimes when guys don't have their shots going or aren't having the greatest offensive night, they can let it affect their defensive game, but he stayed aggressive on that side of the floor. Good dish there. My goodness. Doesn't matter how long Jabari Smith is there. Victor Wembanyama is longer than everyone in the league. And he made him look tiny. And that's a 6'10 guy with a, what, 7'2", 7'3 wingspan, something like that. Smooth stroke from Jabari Smith. Great year coming. Going to be in the most improved player conversation as long as he can stay healthy. Good little dish from Jayshawn Tate to Amen. And this is what I'm talking about with Amen. Obviously, I'm not watching this entire game. Seeing him hustle there. He's making the right little plays, but we're not seeing him really carve out a role for himself offensively, unlike Jabari Smith Jr., who stays hot. So it's just something to monitor. Samuels. Is that Jonathan Williams? Okay. Stay after it. Little reverse lay, went undrafted a couple of years ago. I think last year's draft. Landale. Landale's really shooting the 3. Jonathan. Back at it. You know, he's playing for a roster spot, whether it's in Houston or somewhere else. So I like to see him make those hustle plays, and that's what the scouts like to see. Great take from Cam Whitmore. Landale. He's pulling. He's clearly working to add that to his game, and the stroke looks good. Still weird to see him with a shaved head. Jetty Osman with the and one big body Jetty over Landale. That's not something we've seen a lot from him. But hey, Greg Popovich gets the most of his players. Not shying away from contact either, going straight into the lay. All right, Jetty. Knew him mostly as more of a spot-up shooter. As an offensive player, I'm just going to go back to this real quick. When you're driving here and you understand that you have 2 of those bigs on you, sometimes the best thing you can do is just get that shot up, especially if you have a postman trailing who you know is a capable putback guy. I'm not saying that he's going to the basket knowing that he's creating that opportunity, but a lot of high IQ players can read those situations. Cam Whitmore. You know, the jumper is not incredibly smooth, but this is another guy who obviously fell on the draft because there were health concerns, and he's been able to stay on the floor so far. It looks really good, playing with a ton of confidence. Very, very polished player. Trey Jones getting active defensively. Julian Champagnie. Oh, double clutch lay with the right. We've seen a couple of nice little lays from Julian Champagnie so far in the games I've watched from San Antonio. Better product. Jonathan. Strong take there. I was not expecting to say Jonathan Williams' name a lot in this game. Dominic Barlow. I think we're done with Wemby. Didn't see a lot from him, so not going to get to talk about him a lot in this game. But the other guy, Sandro Mamashkalasvili. Maybe I just butchered that name, but I believe I said it at least somewhat correctly. Boban Marjanovic. Oh, I would have loved to see Boban take on Wemby. That's a shame. Nice little pull. Got some garbage time guys here, but still some names that are worth watching. Dominic Barlow impressed me the last time I watched the Spurs play. There's Sandro. Nice little take with the offhand. This guy came into Summer League with the Bucks a couple of years ago and lit the world on fire for a couple of games, then dropped off the face of the earth for a while, as most Summer League hype players do, but good to see him land in a situation where he can really work to develop. Go up, Dominic. You are huge. There you go. I like the confidence that Dominic Barlow's been playing with so far. That's going to do it Ime Udoka and Greg Popovich talking there. Obviously, Ime played for Greg and then worked for him in San Antonio as an assistant coach. So a little cool moment there with Boban. Shout out. Don't have a ton to add about this game. Didn't get to see a ton from Wemby. Devin Vassell continuing to show out. One guy who I know played tonight is Keldon Johnson, and he was someone that I was eager to see how he fit alongside Wemby. Didn't do enough clearly to get on this highlight reel at all, really. So I might have to go back, watch a longer extended cut to see how he fits. But I like how San Antonio has continued to build their roster around Wemby. I think Houston's done a great job building the roster. These are two teams that are going to be probably near the bottom of the West this year, but both exciting to watch for their own reasons. So thank you so much for watching with me. Stay tuned for another video over the next week.